Alright everyone, we have a brand new week's worth of events and important things to do that have a timer that you guys are going to want to make sure to do before next week's maintenance to make sure that you get all the goodies and rewards that you possibly can. So let's go through all the important stuff that you want to do as soon as possible. And I will say that this week definitely feels like a bit of a slower week in comparison to the last couple of weeks with the half anniversary events, but there still are some very, very important things that you want to make sure to get done or you're going to miss out on some really awesome freebies. And the first one is super basic, just at the very bare minimum. Make sure that you guys are logging into the game every single day. You can see the special login event just started and we're getting a whole bunch of these tickets. These are actually for the 7% rates banner, so you definitely do not want to miss out on these. And considering all you have to do to get them is just log into the game, make sure that you guys are at least doing that. You'll also end up getting a part 1 SSR ticket at the end of week 1 and a part 2 SSR ticket at the end of week 2. Now, in addition to these tickets here, we're also going to be getting a bunch of gold every day for the next week as well. You can see 300,000 gold for the first 5 days, then 500,000 gold, and then 1,000,000 gold, and it adds up to 3 million gold in total, once again, just by simply logging into the game. So at the very bare minimum, make sure that you guys are still doing that. So now let's talk a little bit about something that we were also given, the secret box. I think it was in your inventory or in your mail. There is a code for it, and if you guys are wondering what it is, the code for the new secret box is just quite simply what code, just like on the screen right there, no space. And it's really nice. It gives you a part 1 guaranteed SSR ticket, so definitely make sure that you guys get that. That's a pretty awesome little freebie right there. Alright, now moving along, let's talk about the really big thing this week, and that is, of course, Final Boss Deanne. Final Boss Deanne is here. She is here for 2 weeks. However, very importantly, this week right here is the off week. Now, what do I mean by that? This week, we do not have half stamina events. Next week, however, we will have half stamina events, and it always follows that pattern of, you know, the off week, then the half stamina week, then back to the off week. And generally during the half stamina week, you're going to feel like you have less time and you're going to want to focus on farming some stuff, you know, food, gear, books for gold, all that sort of stuff. So while we are in an off week and there's not as much pressure to farm half stamina events, this is a fantastic time before Monday in order to really farm out all the points that you need in order to buy whatever that you're looking in the shop. You still have another week afterwards, but next week with the half stamina events, you might feel a bit more pressure with other things to do. So it would be more optimal for you to actually farm out Final Boss Deanne this week, clear stuff in the shop, and then next week, a couple of days or so before it actually resets, you can kind of check on your high score and see if you're in the placements that you want for the rewards. Now, I will also say when it comes to the rewards here, I would really try to aim at the very minimum for the top 15%, because that's going to end up giving you 10 hammers and 150 anvils, which is huge. The top 5% is nice as well, but recently they kind of revamped or changed the final boss rewards to make the top 5% not as important as it was before. I mean, it's still nice if you can get it, but top 15% is really what I would try to aim for. If you can't do that, really do your absolute best to get in the top 50% to make sure that you get all the gems from the final boss that you can. So very, very important right there. All right, now let's talk about the new semester events that we've got going on right here. And one of them is these tickets. And I want to head over here to the screen, the event screen, the new semester spin event, the new semester drop event. So these green tickets right here, you can end up getting a total of 30 of them per day just by free stages, Fort Solgris, boss battles, death matches, just doing your daily routine. You're probably going to end up getting enough of these because I know you get 2 when they drop instead of 1, so you only have to do like a total of 15 of all of these every single day, which should not really be too difficult in order to do. But the thing is that these new semester tickets, they are not just for this spin event, which is really awesome, by the way. There are some fantastic things in here, SSR pendants, you know, boss materials, also a bunch of costumes, and also the last 3 are decorations there. But there is another use for these tickets, and I would actually prioritize this other use before you start to spin, and you guys will see why here in a second. It's actually this new exchange shop. And you can see here that this exchange shop is primarily in order to swap, you know, the deathmatch materials For other deathmatch materials, I generally don't like to do this because you have to pay 2 to get 1. There's a limit as well. You know, if you really need certain materials, you can do that. That's fine. But you can see in the spin icon, there's also the option to actually trade in your green spin tickets for diamonds. There's 10 of them in total. They cost 3 tickets each. However, the reason why I said you want to maybe do this first is because you can only actually buy 2 diamonds per day. So make sure that you guys don't wait until the very last day in order to get these diamonds, because you will miss out. You want to make sure to start buying these as soon as you can. So it's going to be a total of 30 tickets right there in order to get those diamonds. So multiple uses for the new semester tickets. Now let's move on to the next thing, and that is the new battle event. I know we had a ton of these last week. This week, we only have one. There is still Nightmare Mode. Nightmare Mode was introduced with last week's update, and this one right here does have a daily count of 5, so you definitely want to make sure that you guys are running this, not only because of the limit, but the achievements here. You can see that you need to run it 10 times, so it's going to take you a minimum of 2 days in order to get this achievement. And then this is the one that ends up, you know, there's a lot of gold that you get as drops from this one. It's pretty decent for gold, actually, and you need to get a bunch of gold in order for this achievement. So it's probably going to take you something like 3 to 4 days in order to finish out the achievements with only 5 days per run. So don't leave this until the very last day, or you're not going to be able to get the achievements and you'll miss out on those gems as well. Now, we do have a new Hawk Pass as well, and this one has some pretty interesting stuff here. We've got some new decorations, lots of stuff. Even if you don't buy the actual Hawk Pass, that's totally fine. Just make sure that you guys are working on clearing out your missions and getting the points. It is a 3-week Hawk Pass, so you want to make sure to keep up to date with this so that you end up getting all the rewards from this that you possibly can. So definitely keep an eye out on that right there. Now let's get into the actual banners, because we have 3 banners active and all of them have a different end date. So let's talk about the new banners. Of course, the 7% new semester special draw. This is the one where all the tickets that we get from logging in, you can end up using them for this banner, and you can see that there is a 7% rate for SSRs. I believe there's no pity system for this one though, because it does have those higher rates, but you know, there's some interesting units. Blue Demon Meliodas, Green Escanor, definitely a very tempting banner for sure. It has a end date of October 20th though, so you have 3 full weeks in order to get your summons in on this banner. Now, the next banner is going to end in 2 weeks, not 3 weeks, and that is the Zarathos banner. I talked a little bit about this in an earlier video. I have to say, the other units on this banner are not that great. I think this is just not really worth it for most people, unless you're a mega super whale. You really want Zarathos, go for it, but I would say almost everyone, especially free-to-play players, you could skip out on this and you'll be able to get him in your Part 2 summons later on. And then the last banner, which is going to be ending at the end of this week, is the Easton banner. So if you still haven't done your summons on this, be mindful that this one will be going away the soonest. So another little quick reminder here as well, when it comes to, you know, if you guys keep an eye on Sacred Treasure Shop costumes, this stuff always has a time limit as well. Of course, because the Easton banner is going to be going away in a week, then the Easton costumes will also be going away in a week here. And then we've got the School Life new semester costumes. You've got 2 weeks on these here. And then the Zarathos costumes, because he's going to be around for 2 weeks, you also have 2 weeks on those. And the very last thing that I want to end off the video on is always my little reminder that I like to give. Even though we still have plenty of time on this, I always like to mention this in these videos because it's really easy to forget about this, and the rewards are so good. You want to make sure to do this at some point before it ends. That is the growth event. You can see here there are a total of 7 SSR pendants that you can get from this, and it's just one of those things where it's really easy to accidentally forget about it. You don't usually end up going to this window very often, so make sure that you guys sometime before October 20th get this done here. It does require Mono and Easton. However, if you do not have Mono Easton, you could use a Friends unit to meet that requirement right there. And of course, this doesn't really count, but it's worth mentioning here, is Chapter 12 is out as well. So if you guys were already caught up to date on your story and you haven't had any new story to do for a while, there is new story that is available. The reason why it doesn't really fit into a video like this a lot is because there's no time limit for this. You don't have to do this by the end of this week. Chapter 12 will always be around from this point forward, so do not feel rushed when it comes to story. Kind of clear it at your own pace, and all the other stuff that I mentioned in this video, that stuff is going to take priority before you start to work on things like Chapter 12 or reverse stages. Because those things don't have a time limit, you don't really need to rush on those things compared to other stuff. So anyway, I threw a ton of info at you guys in this video. That's going to be about it for today. Like I said, a bit of a slower week in comparison to the last few weeks, but there's still plenty of stuff that you want to make sure that you get done before this week ends. Make sure you get all the freebies, goodies, and awesome rewards that you can. And with that all being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. Feel free to toss a quick like as well. Over 11,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, everyone, for all of the support, and over 150 other videos on the channel, more guides, tutorials, and other fun stuff like this. Feel free to check it out. But if not, until next time, take care, everyone. And this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.